Now, to take you on a rather depressing walk before we get on to the rather happier things, I'll show you the effects of the drought has had on the rhododendrons on this lower walk here, which are planted under the trees. You can see this is a very old rhododendron loderi in a very sorry state. However, I do see there are some buds here, so I'm hopeful that next year we'll be getting a slightly recovered shrub. But I have a feeling that a lot of these rhododendrons that are sort of half dead will come back in places and form rather strange shaped shrubs, but still, at least I hope they'll be coming back. Well, since I walked down here almost 2 weeks ago, we've had a lot of rain, and already although the bottom of this rhododendron loderi doesn't look a lot different, but the top, the droopy leaves have picked up and are no longer droopy, so I think the thing is saved. But it remains to be seen how much they are definitely looking better. And interestingly, the camellias and the evergreen magnolias that have been in the same sort of situation under trees, now they've survived the drought much better than the rhododendrons. Anyway, let's go and see some plants that are actually okay. With the Wallamai pine, seems okay, but for the first time I've noticed that it's dropping its branches lower down, which is what it does when it's stressed especially. But the whole thing looks very healthy, and what's more, the suckers from the base are looking good. I can see the blue Atlantic cedar, which has formed quite a nice shape now. I brought this back as a 6-foot standard in the back of my estate car in 1979, planted it here, and it's become massive. But I want to show you the lovely happiness-inducing colchicums which have come up, and I do think they are such jolly things at this time of year. Of course, the problem with colchicums out in the open more is that they do tend to get bashed down if we do have any rain. And remarkably, we have had some rain last night, quite a heavy shower, which, as you can see, has flattened them. Mind you, in Lebanon, in the cedar forest, I saw white colchicums, and they were all lying on the ground. It seems to be a thing that they do. These bigger flowered ones seem to be more floppy even. We've paused by a small, rather spreading tree, which has become quite wide after 32 years of growth. It was already quite a substantial tree when I planted it, given by an old lady who was clearing her garden, and I planted this 32 years ago. I know that from the label. This is a crab apple called red jade, and we can see the red jade berries against the blue sky. It's got an attractive shape, this tree. You might be forgiven for thinking that this tree it's got its autumn colours and is turning. However, it's supposed to be evergreen, and this is a reaction to the drought. This is a southern beech called Nothophagus nitida, naked southern beech. And on closer inspection you can see that some of the leaves are now going brown and dry. Luckily, I think the rain has come in the nick of time, so it should be okay. Here's quite a nice thing. It's a very small, compact, weeping little shrub with lovely blue flowers and aromatic foliage, slightly grey coloured foliage, and the blue flowers, which are also quite attractive to bees. This is the weeping form of a shrub called Carryopterus Clandanensis, weeping form. The area by the pond here, we let the grass grow and whatever wildflowers there happen to be, and then we cut it right down at the end of August. It's very close. Gather up all the grass cuttings so as not to enrich the soil too much, and keep it mown closely for the rest of the season. We have planted some yellow rattle in here, parasitizing the grass, stopping it to grow too long. It's only been successful in patches, but we're hoping to sow some more for this coming year. Funnily enough, we bought at great expense about 3 goldfish, and certainly within about a week they'd all disappeared, presumably eaten by something, and we thought that was that. And then we found these, so they were obviously busy doing things until they were eaten by something, but not before they could lay their eggs, and now we seem to have an awful lot of goldfish. Now it rather looks as if the triffids have landed here. This rather sinister, enormous acum, which is now branching out, has been here 2 years, and I think it's a seedling of a natural hybrid of the acum pinninana, which we have growing all around the wall garden here, and acum wildpretii, which has a sort of tall fat spike of pink flowers and grey leaves, which I've never been able to grow here successfully, but obviously it managed to hybridize, and this seedling is the result, and I'm waiting to see what on earth the flower spike's going to be like. I can't help feeling it's going to be big, fat and pink. Some things have coped better than others with this very hot, dry weather we've had. I think we're having some rain now. We certainly had a good shower in the evening and last night, as you can see from the rather spangled raindrops on the dark-leafed, dark-flowered dahlia called Karma chocolate. Karma chocolate. And then, of course, par excellence, the shrubs that do best in sun and heat are the hibiscus hybrids, which I planted actually about 3 years ago now in this bed, and they're growing well. All sorts of different colorways. Semi-double with a bit of wine in the middle. Well, moving along here, another hibiscus, of course, and the sedum, variegated yucca, all thriving. And I see up in the distance a shrub with its blue spikes of flowers and bees buzzing about. The chaste bush. Let's go and have a look. Coming up beside it, this is a small tree or shrub called Vitex, agnus-castus. Vitex because Pliny the Elder said, they called it that because it was used in weaving. And agnus-castus means virginal in Greek and in Latin, just to be sure. It's otherwise called the chaste tree and monk's pepper, presumably because it was in some way used either in flavoring in a monastery, or the leaves were strewn about the beds of the monks in order to prevent lewd thoughts and reduce libido. I think complete nonsense, but there we go. The bumblebees, of course, are just loving it. Vitex comes from the Mediterranean, and one of the few plants that are hardy enough, although they like full sun, in the genus Vitex, which is really mostly tropical and subtropical. So it's doing very well and absolutely loving the hot weather.